Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 4, Episode 2 of Confessions of a Gamer Girl podcast. I'm your host, Doom Cutie, and like I always say, when we have 4 people on, it's our full house, which I'm very excited about. It is a mission to organise one other person than yourself, let alone 3 others, so pat myself on the back there. Of course, as always, we have our lovely co-hosts. We have Shay.
Hello, everyone.
And Kate.
Evening.
You're looking very
So ominous.
fast.
Evening.
Evening.
No, I like it. Please continue. I like that it's ominous.
Stay that way all night now.
We're predicting the future here. But you know what? It's a very, very bright and sunny episode because we have the incredible, the amazing, impeccably talented Soylent Cosplay. Welcome to Coag.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's absolutely our pleasure to have you on here. We're big fans of your work. A lot of people that are watching and who will be listening and watching the VOD, I assume, are going to be are big fans of yours. You're just you bring our favorite character to life, and I think it's just so lovely. It's just great. I love your work. But there might be some people that don't know who you are and what you do. I don't know, they're probably living under a rock or, don't play video games or something. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Soylent or Jen. Jen's fine. I get people calling out soy in conventions, and I never remember that. So Jen's good.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a professional professional cosplayer in Sydney. I have been cosplaying for say about 12, 13 years now. And I'm mostly known for my work as Liara from Mass Effect, more recently Lilith from Diablo 4, and then I think what else? I've also done work with PlayStation and with like Epic Games and things like that. So I've made my way around. I've made it through. I've made it through the three Bs: BioWare, Blizzard, Bethesda. So I'm good.
You got your cosplay passport fully stamped.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What I'm going to start at the very beginning. What inspired you to start this? Was it an accident or something you always wanted to do?
I mean, because I think I started off like I think in and I'm gonna say 10 or something. I started really liking like cosplays online. Like there was like Twin Fools and the kind of OG kind of cosplayers who some of them are still around, which is really great. But I started liking them, so I went to like a first con, and it was fun. It was just like a thrown together nothing costume. My first cosplay ever was Naruto from Naruto,
Yes!
and it was made as part of a project for school in it would have been 10th grade is when I did that. And we went to a convention together as part of the project to be like, oh, we're totally doing a school project. Anyway, and I did that. It was really fun. And then I kind of didn't do it for a few years. Went back into it more recently when I started dating my current partner. We decided I wanted to give it another go. And then the thing that really got me into it was I got into Mass Effect. and I found Liara Tassoni, and I was like, man, that would be a sick cosplay to do. I really want to do that, but how do I do that? I don't have any of the skills. And so I found someone who, she doesn't make them anymore, but someone she used to make headpieces, and I just kind of looked up tutorials and slapped it on, and it looked awful in real life, but with a little bit of photo editing, it went viral. And it was kind of a push that I was like, oh, I actually really enjoy this kind of character creation in real life, essentially. And I've always been an artist. My background is in sculpture. I have a bachelor's degree in sculpture, and I've got from that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go into makeup. I'm going to learn how to do makeup so I can do these on myself and on other people and use people as a canvas. And so that's what I did, and I've just kind of been doing that ever since, just finding characters that I find really appealing to do, like mainly makeup based costumes. I actually despise sewing, but I do it because I have to. But yeah, that was kind of, I fell into it. Yeah, because I wouldn't say it was an accident, but it was probably the most organic way possible, which was that I became mildly obsessed with something and had to literally put my body into it.
That's so cool though. Like getting to use a human as a canvas is just fantastic. And like taking a look at your photos and stuff, the way you transform yourself, you don't look like you. This isn't a little bit of like, oh, I put some blush in a different spot and now my cheeks are chiseled. This is full on. You don't look like you. If you put them beside each other, I would not, like, that's fantastic. You've done an amazing job. And I love that you started with Naruto. I grew up with Naruto and I'm like, yes. And I love that, like, you didn't start with Sakura. You went, no. I know. I'm going my boy. Let's do
main
this.
character syndrome.
Absolutely. Oh my god. Do you still have like pictures of your first cosplay? Do you ever look back at it and go, listen, it probably didn't start amazingly, but like that is where it started. So
yeah, I post it every once in a while. I put like a side by side with a more recent costume to be like, because people, I don't know, there's this kind of weird thing that's happened with social media, which I'm sure we'll mention at some point, but it didn't used to be quite so like, you know, likes and views and stuff heavy. It was just about sharing what you were doing. But people who come into it now think that you have to have a kind of certain level of skill and a certain level of notoriety to like be successful and to be able to do it. And so people feel intimidated by it. And so I'll quite often I'll post my Naruto photo. I have one singular Naruto photo, and I will put it next to a recent costume and be like, everyone starts somewhere. You kind of have to make the costume that has no pockets and that falls apart as you're wearing it the day that you made it, to go through like a rite of passage into real cosplay.
Listen, the point is it started somewhere. You made something from nothing, and that is what you want to capture. I also really love that you were mentioning you hate sewing, but you love what you do so much that you'll do this thing that you hate anyway. And I think that's gorgeous. Like, it shows a massive passion for what you do, but it does also make sense now why a lot of your costumes have like just fantastic makeup and stuff, and it does seem to make up the majority of it. Because I was looking at it like, how does she deal with having paint everywhere constantly? Like, my texture issues I would be clawing it off.
Oversensitive, sensory overload.
I'd be like, oh, please. But I was so impressed with it. I was just like, that's going to take some dedication to put on early in the morning before even getting to the con, and then taking it off, because people don't think about that. Well, what is that process like? Like, do you just destroy your bathroom every time?
No, I mean, I'm pretty curdy. Like, I mean, if it's my own bathroom, I'm a little bit more haphazard. I'm actually quite good in a hotel bathroom. I'm not going to have a Homestuck, you know, Sharpie bathtub situation. But I'm pretty fast on the removal now. I didn't used to be. I used to be really bad to my skin, actually, because there's a whole thing, like, I'm trained in makeup, so I know what you're supposed to do. But there was a time when I was like, I'm so sick of this, I just want it off, and I just start tearing things off, and it's so bad for your skin. Never do that. But now I'm
what I meant to do, what I actually do.
Yeah. What did I say? What did I do? And especially now that I'm getting older, the wrinkles are going to start coming in, so I have to be aware. It also means I have to change my techniques a bit, because some paints will really bring like dryness and wrinkles and stuff out more than others. So I'm at the moment where I'm in a kind of transitionary period for my paints and things like that. But I don't know, I've become, it's quite therapeutic for me to get ready. I quite like, because I think, say, if I use Liara as an example, it used to take me, I would say, 4.5 hours. I think now I can do it in 3. But I'm perfectly happy to sit there and just do it, because it also is good because I know how long it takes, because when I'm on set, when I'm working on like movies and stuff, I actually know how long something will take me, so I can give people a good kind of estimate on how long I'm going to be. So it's actually taught me how fast I can be, because I do it on myself, which has been really good for on set stuff. So
do you think you're faster on other people versus yourself?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
No, I'm definitely faster on other people. One, because I don't like them to be in my chair for any longer than necessary. Because I make sure it's a high chair. I make sure it's quite comfortable. Most of the people who sit in it tell me that it's comfortable. But it's like, I know, like when I'm doing it myself, I'm doing something while I'm sitting down. When you're doing somebody's
Yep.
makeup, they just have to sit there and just kind of
Mm.
deal with it. And if it's like a 2.5 hour makeup, they just have to sit there for sometimes they have to have their eyes shut for like 20 minutes. Like airbrushing is like
Fall
a lot.
asleep.
So
I would,
yeah, I
I'd
try
fall
to be
asleep. I'd be like, you do you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have had that happen actually a couple times.
Oh, well, that just means you're very relaxing, very therapeutic,
Clearly.
obviously,
Yeah.
experience.
I try.
Kate, you haven't said a word, so I want to ask you about. You need tips from a pro because Kate, I don't know your history with cosplay, but Kate
have
is
none.
endeavoring in cosplay.
I love
Look,
this. I have none.
think
I'm doing
cosplay
it.
is a stretch. I think it's a massive stretch.
Not actually cosplay.
I have been grouped in with some friends to go as Kitana from Mortal Kombat to PAX for one of the days.
Whoa.
Now,
That's gonna be
would I
sick.
call it cosplay? No. Would I call it dressing up like my children on Halloween? Yes. I'm not cosplaying. I'm just going to throw a costume on and
Oh, so you're at my level. You put
Yeah,
costume on,
What?
maybe
Okay.
wig,
you're like
and then you're like,
2.5, 3 hours makeup. I'm like, you'll be lucky if I chuck some foundation on this. All right. And that's
I love
make
it.
me feel a little bit better in the morning, you know?
No, okay, you're
That's
gorgeous the
fine.
way you are.
Also,
Own it.
because I have no idea what
Okay.
I'm doing. So, you know.
Okay,
no.
what's the line then? Okay, where does it go from, okay, I'm going to a convention, I'm doing like a group thing, or I just, I want to wear
Rock
a
up as one of the
costume.
characters I like. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like, and where does that line to cosplayer go into it? Like,
I guess
'cause I don't
serious
know.
cosplayer is like the better term. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because technically I would classify it all as cosplay.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't love a gatekeeping situation with the cosplay scene. I'm a big on if you put a costume on your body, then you are cosplaying. Doesn't matter what the
I'm a
costume looks like.
cosplayer.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
so
that's-
included. Thank you.
like obviously there are like levels, but if someone's at a convention in a costume, they're a cosplayer. So yeah.
Okay, so Kate, you
All
are a
right, there we
cosplayer.
go. If you know
Pressure's
anybody,
on.
if you know anyone on your level thinking about going as Kitana to PAX in Oz this year, can you ask them not to?
Yes. Yeah. They're fair. Yeah.
That's the
comparatively.
thing.
Wait. I have a question about that. Is there like any competition? Like obviously you went viral, you were like expert Liara, right? When other people do it, have you felt threatened, or do you think people feel threatened by their like OG or like their special character?
No, oh well, I mean, yeah, because if just from person, like I know there is a lot of kind of competitiveness within the scene. I'm not gonna like pretend there isn't. Like we have actual competitions, but that's the only
Yeah, there's
only
actual
space
competitions.
that should be okay. But yeah, no, I literally I sell headpieces to other people who want to do Liara. Like I sell them my headpiece
Yeah.
so that they can do it themselves. Like I have no problem. I find
That's so
it's quite
wholesome.
fun at a convention to see someone in the same character as you, because it's like an instant icebreaker because you both know you love this one thing. Like that's how I met most of my friends actually that I have now. Most of them I met because I did this cosplay, and then because it went viral, like people would see me and then they'd be like, oh, you're in the same space as me, and then you go to conventions and you meet in person. It kind of like think of it as like an internet friend translating into real life. That's kind of what happens with cosplay. It doesn't happen I think as much now, only because of the kind of culture that's kind of swinging around cosplay at the moment, which just like I said, it makes people feel like they can't cosplay because they don't have the skills. And that's not at all what cosplay is about. But in my experience and like with my friends and stuff, we all get hyped when someone's doing the same character. Like we try to make groups specifically so that everyone is cosplaying the same thing because it's so fun.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
gonna
can
lie.
imagine taking a picture like, all
Everyone
Liaras
with the
or
same
all
character.
Katanas. Like it just I think that would
I'm
just be so wholesome.
I went to DreamHack actually. One of the DreamHacks is Vi from Arcane, specifically that version, not from League of Legends the game. And I was feeling pretty good about it, right? Like I took some photos like for the test try on and stuff like that, had the right energy, right? I got called mummy. I'm not a parent. so I wasn't like that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we've got the energy. This is good. I got there. I don't know what I did wrong, but I did something with my makeup that I couldn't replicate on the day. And then I met this absolutely phenomenal Vi. Like they didn't necessarily have the build, but like they had the makeup down pat, they had the scars and everything. I'm never wearing that costume again. I was so intimidated by how much better they were. I was like, oh my god, I am a fool. I will never wear this again. So this time to PAX, I'm going as Ash. But I'm not blonde anymore, so I'm going to have to wear a bloody wig. But hopefully I can pull that
She
one off.
might
I've never
change
seen
it,
anyone
though.
cosplay as Ash. Might I?
She
Why
might.
am I changing?
I don't know, because
become a
when I met
Katana.
you were blonde, and then you had blonde in the
Oh,
ends of your hair,
hair.
and then you cut that off,
Yeah.
and then you did it again, and now you're fully
Yeah.
blue. So really,
Yeah.
anything's possible.
It's true. It is true. I do like to be funny colors. It does amuse me deeply. So yeah, but no, like I've never seen anyone though be unfriendly about it. So like for example, this person that I'm measuring myself against, that's on my side entirely. She was entirely lovely. She took photos of me. She called over her friend who was dressed as Caitlin. So like we got photos together and stuff. And I was just like, thank you for including me, even though there is obviously such a skill gap. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've never
awesome.
had that experience either. Like I've been to a few things with a few friends that are real like into the cosplay, and they're always so lovely. And they're like, "You're fine," and you're like, "I know deep down, you know I'm not, but you really mean what you're saying, and that's lovely."
Yeah. Like I know you can see the skill difference, but you love that I
Yeah.
tried, and I love that I'm
Yeah.
getting encouraged. So this is great. Thank you.
Right.
That's I look. I'm not really a Halloween girl, so I obviously I have
Oh yeah,
kids,
you
and
don't like
they
spookies, right?
yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
forgot. Yeah.
But no, I think pretending that you're someone else, for a convention, I think is amazing. And like like as you said, Jess, you really loved Mass Effect, and like just putting this out there, if you don't know, I first played Mass Effect last year. So I'm late on that hyperfixation.
Oh, but you loved it. Like you
Oh,
loved it so much. You might be
I
late, but the love was there.
yeah. So I can totally understand your love for that, and then thinking, you know what, I've got some skills here. I can pick up other things there. I think I can do this. And then bringing that to life, like, how does that feel? Like, and having other people being like, oh my gosh, like you brought this to life for me. Thank you.
It's I mean, I won't lie, it's kind of from where I am now, it's a lot of pressure. Because I obviously when I first started doing like Liara, and to be fair, I was also like I wasn't like now late, but I was actually late to the Mass Effect game. I only started playing because the third game had been announced and it was coming out in a week, and my partner was like, well, he wasn't my partner at the time, but he was like, you will like this game. Please try and play this game. And I was like, okay, weird man that I've met in the game place. Like,
strange lad.
we've been together 13 years, so we're good. But yeah, he was like, you would like this. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll play this game. So I played the first one literally a week before the third came out. And I played the first one and the second game and finished the second game the day before the third game came out.
Oh,
and
amazing.
played the third game. And I played it without a break. I think I did it all in one go, and that was exhausting emotionally. But obviously, when I first did it, there was like no stakes. It was just like, this is just a thing I think will be cool. I want to try and do this fun little creative thing, and I put it up, and people are like, "Oh my god, like this is really good!" And I was like, "Oh, okay, crap, I gotta actually do it properly."
Oh shit!
And then
this is the thing now.
And the first time I wore her to a convention, I was like, oh, this is not my, like, I was really worried because my whole thing with cosplay, it's not the same for everyone, but for me, I had this really annoying tendency where I need it to look in real life what it looks like in the photos.
Dude, yes.
I don't want to,
absolutely.
I don't want to turn up to a convention and someone look at me and be like, "Pan, you look really different in the photos of you," and I'm like terrified of that. So I always want to make sure that, like it's fine if that's your thing as long as you're upfront about that. But yeah, so it's been a lot of, and then when I did all that, and then when the Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition was announced, that's when BioWare reached out to me and was like, "Hey, do you want to do this thing? It's going to be tricky because you're in Australia and we're in Canada and the time difference is so bad, but you want to try and make this work." because obviously we're like a day ahead, and then the hours are switched. And so I for the first meeting I had with the entire group, I was up at 3 a.m. Because
Yeah.
that was when they were meeting. At like I think 10 a.m.
Yeah.
their time was 3 a.m. and I was like, "Hi guys, I'm so tired." Anyway, that
Were
put
they
a lot of
really chill
pressure on,
about
and
it?
so oh, they
Like,
were.
were they
Yeah, they were
really-
like, "Okay, we're moving.
Oh.
Yeah, we're moving it back by 2 hours so that you can at least be up at like 6."
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
instead of like 3 or 4 in the morning. But no, I do love the reception that I get from her. I'm not gonna lie, I do get quite a kind of like, warm and fuzzies when I get comments on my costumes, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're like the perfect blank. We really love your costume." And I do really love that. I do kind of thrive off that, especially if I have a really hard build. It's nice to post and then have instant feedback that people are like, "We appreciate the work you put in, and we can see that you really care about this character." I mean, I'm not unaware of the fact that the reason that like Liara went viral is just because I happen to have her face. That's not like that's a coincidence that happened with me. Because that's kind of what that came down to, was that I just looked a lot like her, and so I just lent into it. It also helps I don't have to wear contacts for her, which is really nice, because I hate all that amount of makeup plus the contacts is really constricting, claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love
Um,
when people tell me that they want to like do cosplay, or they want to do a certain character because they saw me do it, or when they come up to me in a con and they say they really like my stuff. It's really nice for me to get that kind of like real life feedback, because it, you do a lot of the work on your own in a room by yourself. Gets kind of lonely.
in that
So-
in that same vein, sorry, just
No, you go.
I've always wondered, on that same sort of thing, when people do come up to you at things like cons and stuff, you always know there's always those over the top people, and people want photos, and then people want to touch, and it's always a thing for me where I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable on their behalf sometimes with the way people can approach people sometimes, or not even approach, they just do, and I'm like, ugh. So like, I guess for those of us who aren't around it that much, what is comfortable for you in particular, but generally the consensus for,
What are the
what's the
rules?
protocol? Do we walk up and
Yeah.
take and we have a photo, that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, no, as long as someone walks up to me and like like if I'm in the middle of a conversation, I've had people who have walked up and just started talking to me while I'm talking to someone else. And that kind of that will I'm just big on like kind of normal courtesy, respect kind of stuff. It's like, don't ask for a photo if I'm having a sit down or eating lunch, because I'm obviously having a sit down or eating lunch. Don't like I love it. I love people to come up and say hi to me for sure. Like obviously consent before touching is a good one.
Yes.
Mm.
Consent before taking a photo. I get a lot of sneaky photos, which I don't really care about too much, but I know some people who don't like it. But I like put a PSA out there. If I can see you taking a photo of me, you're not being sneaky. I can see you right there.
Like
You're holding up a large
I know
rectangle
what
at
is
me or a
happening.
camera. Like, I can see this. Oh no.
Yeah.
And
No,
I don't really
look,
care that much, because
Common
Look,
courtesy.
those are pretty reasonable requests. I think anyone
Oh my
with
god, cosplayers are
half a brain.
people? What?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there is a real person
There
under
are
there.
times though where you see it. Like I see it
You
myself,
do.
just going to cons, and you're like, did I just watch what I think I watched? What are you doing?
Yeah.
That's a person
I've
there.
seen people who like walk into the middle of somebody else like getting a photo with a cosplayer. So everyone's lined up, it's quite lovely. And then someone just walks in between the camera and everything and starts talking to the cosplayer. And the poor cosplayers, they're like, I'm so sorry, I'm actually just
I'm busy.
because I see too many of
I'm
those
off.
situations where like the cosplayer then has to have additional skills that you might not think of usually, but you have to have so many people skills to diffuse these situations, because obviously a lot of the time either people are just overly enthused and they've forgotten themselves, or they may not have the best understanding of social cues and things like that, depending on what they're working with. So like, how do you find that side of things? Because obviously, we focus for cosplayers, we focus on the makeup and the costumes and stuff, but what about the people skills that you've had to develop to deal with some of those situations?
Yeah, we don't really, no one talks about them super much, which that was not a sentence. Anyway, they're not a huge topic of conversation when people do talk about cosplay, because I think everyone is kind of thinking that they're having like situations in a vacuum. They don't really think about the fact that this is kind of something that's happening to everyone. It happens a lot. Like obviously the more well known you are, the more it happens. And if you're a guest, that kind of also adds another layer to it. Particularly the worst I get it is when I am at a table guesting for a convention. Because obviously I'm now a captive audience. I can't actually go anywhere. I'm stuck at my table. So if someone does, I've had it happen a few times where someone will come up and they will talk to me, and it's something like it's harmless, but it's like I'm trying to work and they stand there and they talk at you for 45 minutes. And you're like, okay, like this is great that you like, I'm so glad that you like me and you want to have a chat, but I literally have to work. And it's not like, and it does come down a lot of it on like, and a lot of the time it's not even their fault. Like you said, this is just kind of what happens in this community because of just like the nature of, nerd fandoms, geek fandoms. You end up with a lot of people who hyperfixate, and you have a lot of people who are like somewhere on the spectrum, and sometimes that means that we lack like social awareness in certain situations. And so I'm trying to be like as quite empathetic to that as I can. I would never tell someone to like go away or anything. But usually in those situations, like conventions, I'll usually have a handler or like a person with me.
And
then
I was
that
going to say
person
that.
will sometimes be the one who steps in and is like, sorry, they have to go. If I'm guessing with someone else and they notice, they'll usually come over and say, hey, we need to talk about something, and I'll be like, okay, bye, and I'll go talk to that and then until that person leaves, and then they're like, okay, you good, are you fine? It's all about kind of like other people who are also looking out and being like, is this making you uncomfortable? I'm very lucky. Well, I don't know if lucky is the right word. I only really cosplay really intense characters. Usually most of them have a resting bitch face, so I kind of have a little bit of an aura around me when I'm in a cosplay.
Lilith, for example.
Like I've never had anyone touch me inappropriately, which has been really good. I'm very lucky. I've had many a story from many a friend who have, especially for some reason, anime girls is where a lot of that happens. Especially if you're wearing a skirt, a lot of stuff happens with that. I've had to step in for a friend who was being stalked by someone at a convention. I happened to be cosplaying Shigo, and I was wearing like 8-inch platforms, so I just stood between them and told them to go away.
You're like, not today.
It does happen. You do pick up skills unfortunately, it's one of those things where you don't really know how you're gonna react until you're in the moment. And you kind of have to learn how to act in those moments. And some people, just can't really deal with that kind of level of intensity from people, and that's totally valid. But I do say if people do want to get into cosplay on like a professional level, you have to be kind of equipped to deal with people who are a little bit intense, and just have kind of like safeguards and be ready to like stand up for your boundaries and make sure that you feel safe, because that's like there's nothing worth there's nothing like cosplay that's worth being harassed by someone just because you want to be nice. Like it doesn't matter if you're a guest, if someone is being if someone touches you or if someone's harassing you in any way that makes you feel uncomfortable, you have the right to be like, no, please go away, I don't want to do this anymore. And it shouldn't be a thing, because that unfortunately does become a thing when you get into the kind of professional scene. It's like you have to think about your image versus the fan interactions. So you do pick up skills, and I'm a lot better at public speaking now, just because I have to talk to so many people during the day. Really good at small talk.
Definitely. What has been outside of Liara, because I know that's probably might be your favorite, but like what has been your favorite outside of Liara?
Let me think. I mean, recently Alfira from Baldur's Gate. I was quite fun.
Big fan.
I was very happy actually that she was so well received. She's actually one of my top liked photos on my Instagram, which I was not expecting, because she's like a little side character in Baldur's Gate, and I wasn't really expecting. But I was like, a blue tiefling. It's a blue character. I'm doing it. That's my thing. She's blue. And I love tieflings, like love them. And it was just like that one was just like a fun project for me. I was just like, this is like a relatively easy. It was just like, boots, leggings, and then I made a shirt and a corset, and then I got to do some fun wig work. commissioned just like what is it, Chaos Costumes has horns from Baldur's Gate. So I was like, this is just gonna be a fun build. I'm not gonna worry about whether I can make the thing. If someone else has got it and I can like buy it from them and support them, I'm gonna do it. And so I was able to kind of do all that. And I was really annoyed because I did all my custom wig work myself. And then like 3 weeks later, Wiggers Fashion, who I buy my wigs from, came out with an Alfira wig. And I was like, how dare you? I just spent 4 days on this wig. Yeah. Yeah, so Alfira's there. I do have a soft spot for Lilith. I really like how I look in her more than anything. She's just
You don't look like you at all. You get
she's really intense. Yeah. It's not the most comfortable of costumes. The headpiece is a little too tight. I'm wearing a really tight fitting corset. My heels are like really tall heels, so I wanted to be like big. Oddly enough, the back brace is fine because it just makes me keep my posture up. So the back brace with the wings aren't heavy, they're just kind of large and awkward. But yeah, as soon as I'm in her, the worst thing is the headache. Everything else I can deal with. But I just love how she fits, and I'm really keen on a demon baddie.
So
have you ever done...
Oh, sorry. Oh, I was just wondering, right? So a big thing about cosplay, and I don't know, it can be a really difficult topic, but like body image and confidence when it comes to cosplaying characters that may not have like your build, how do you approach that just in general?
Yeah, it takes, I don't know, it's not something that I was going to say it takes a while to get used to it, but it's not really something that you kind of get used to. It's tricky because especially when you've done it for a long time, you watch your body change over time. And there's like this kind of misconception, not a misconception, it's just how the internet works. Everyone kind of sees whatever photo of you first that they see. And then, you know, there's like a time skip and now it's you. And I had a moment like at the most recent, I've been very open about this, but at PAX last year, I wore Liara. And I just about had a mental breakdown in the hotel room because I had gained probably about like 8 to 10 kilos since I'd last worn her. And so a bunch of the parts didn't fit me anymore. And like I tried it all on before I left, but not with everything on. And I didn't realize how much extra kind of space there was with everything. And so I was, very upset. You can see in the photos, my braces don't fit because my forearms are bigger. And it was just this kind of, because that costume was made in like 2014 or something.
Wow. Okay.
And so, you know, going from your 20s into your 30s is a big old body change.
Preaching. We know.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends who do have a lot of issues with the body stuff. Specifically, like it depends on what characters you're doing. Unfortunately, there are some characters that get a lot of hate if you don't look exactly like the characters. I get really worried about it because there's this ongoing thing about the fear. It's a really irrational fear, but it happens a lot, I think, mostly to women and femme presenting people in the cosplay community, which is being labeled as the fat version of something. That's like an ongoing thing that just happens. Like obviously, you know, and on like, I mean, it's like it can get even worse. Obviously, the worst end of that is people saying you're the black version of something. Like when people cosplay characters that aren't black, they're like, oh, we don't like that. Your skin color's not right, which is gross. But like in like the middle is kind of like is the body stuff. Like people even get mad when people cosplay someone who's not in a wheelchair when they are in a wheelchair, and they're like, well, you can't cosplay that character because they're not in a wheelchair. It's a kind of a weird elitism that's kind of come into it. So the body stuff kind of falls in under the elitism stuff where people just feel like you shouldn't be allowed to do this unless you are this character. Doesn't happen a lot to like if you're a skinny person cosplaying someone who's a bit bigger. That doesn't really happen much, but the other way around, it does. And it is something you have to learn to kind of be prepared for. Like recently I did, because I work for Deerstalker Pictures, and we do like One for All, and recently we've been doing Baldur's Gate skits. And I did Mizora for Baldur's Gate skit, and I decided I was going to do the version of her where she's basically topless. And I was like, oh gosh, I mean, like I lost a bit of weight, but I saw myself in it and I was like, oh, I really hope I was actually honestly waiting for the comments in the YouTube comments, because YouTube's gnarly. I was waiting for the comments of people being like, oh, yeah, wow, you really let yourself go. But it was actually fine. No one said anything, as far as I know anyway. And I got comments about that I looked like strong, which was nice. But it was like, that's always the kind of in the back of your head.
Does that mean fat?
Process, which it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you deal with it? It's just like, it's just gonna happen. It doesn't actually matter whether you are skinny or if you're a bit bigger or you're muscular. You're always going to get some people who are like, we don't like that version that you're doing. It's not good enough for our standards. And it's just about kind of, it's kind of along with the people skills. You have to learn. It's not about having a thick skin. It's about learning what kind of interactions you are willing to have with the people on your posts, and you are allowed to tell people that they're not allowed to say that stuff, and you are allowed to block them, and you are allowed to get rid of them. Like, there's no dialogue to be having if they're going to come in and just yell things at you like that. So I don't know, it's all about, it's a cliche. It is just about like feeling good in the costume. As long as you feel good in the costume, it doesn't really matter if someone's like, oh my god, you're the fat version. You're like, yeah, bet, whatever. I mean, I could like,
but I'm sexy.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
So many internet saying, yeah, that's it.
Am I having fun?
That good. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that is, that's definitely something that, you know, like me, myself, I've been overweight like my whole life. And if you can get the feeling, I imagine it's a similar feeling of like when you're younger and you move into women's sizes and other people are still in kids sizes, and then like feeling that disconnect, like, oh, are you at she's really short. She's short.
It was still bad though, because people look at you like you're a child and you're like, I'm sorry, I'm small, I didn't pick it, leave me alone.
No, but I can imagine it's something that like you know, you, for the most part, I mean, if you want to go out there and you want to change your body to look like a certain character because you feel like you want to do that and that's going to make you happy, then go for it. But yeah, I 100% think that that's probably number one why lots of people don't want to, you know, dress up and do cosplay of their favorite characters, because, you know, they do feel like they can't represent it the best. But I'm sure if I was, you know, to dig deeper, I would feel like women on the internet or femme presenting people on the internet, they're judged for their looks straight away. And then if you add to that, my whole shtick is my looks because I dress up as characters, you're just, that's going to be magnified. The body dysmorphia, it would just be magnified 100%. And you're right. And this is something that people don't talk about as well. It's like that shift between, you know, I started cosplaying in my 20s, you know, it was really fun. Like, these things fit me, all that kind of stuff. And then, like, you know, how the body changes as we age as well. These are such important conversations to be having, because I think this is an experience that everyone has. And I think that when people are having these interactions, and, you know, like, obviously there are keyboard warriors out there and they're going to, you know, I'm going to put my 5 cents in because you're, you know, you don't fit the braces correctly like you did 5 years ago.
Too short.
They're like children. There's no consequence. I can say what I want and I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right. But I think you're right in saying, okay, what am I actually going to give my energy to? And I think giving your energy to worrying about what people think about you, who you don't actually think about, they don't matter to you, they're not in your life, they don't love you, they don't know you, I think is doing a disservice to the craft and your hobby, the thing that you love to do. You're letting them win in that sense. And I think that that's probably the same in, you could say that for many things, but I think it's very prevalent for someone who works visually in this space.
Yeah, it's up there with it's you know, it's you know, you're everything when you're a cosplayer. Your, you know, costume, your makeup, your the model. Sometimes you're a set designer, sometimes you're a photographer. Like, it's, you take on a lot of hats when you are a cosplayer. So I think a lot of the times people get kind of upset because a lot of the comments when you are femme presenting is it is primarily body related and looks related. And sometimes, especially when you're in kind of my side of cosplay, which is kind of like the craftsmanship and particular skill sets, it gets very frustrating that people will kind of ignore that side of things and concentrate on the body and the looks and the stuff like that. And I know very well that I'm privileged in that sense that I am, I'm white and I'm kind of like mostly like conventionally attractive, or at least I have the skills to make myself look conventionally attractive. And I can move my body small enough that I can maneuver it in ways to make it look like characters that exist. So I don't have to deal with a lot of that stuff. I've got friends who are plus size who have big issues with that, and it's crazy hearing their stories. Like one of my friends just won the crown championship of cosplay, like the world title in cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
it's a
comment.
crazy, like she went to Chicago and she won. She's an incredible builder. She's a Weta Studios alumni. Like she's got skills. Her and her partner make incredible work. They do it professionally, like make profs. Anyway, but
I met
she was
them
very
at
upset.
the Warcraft 30 event. They have their Lich, their
Yeah.
iconic Lich King. This is insane. Like it's better than the movie. It's better than the game. It's better. Like this is just, it's incredible. And the fact that people could only comment on the size of this woman rather than how epic it was, that cosplay, she world champion. Like, please. I just don't understand. There's a comment that I want to read out from the chat, actually, from the No Good Game. Thank you. Comic book Wolverine is 5'3". Nobody ever cares when someone tall cosplays Wolverine, so it shouldn't matter the other way around either. Hugh Jackman ain't 5'3".
But I think the difference here is that we see this a lot. Men don't cop the same flack appearance-wise as women do. And I think, unfortunately,
hey, look, Marvel even created a fat Thor to include y'all.
Yeah.
So, you know,
everyone
like,
was fine with that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's just being himself. He's letting his emotions run as they need to. And it's like, yeah, but what if women? What if we did that? What if we just needed 3 seconds where we weren't perfect?
No, there'd be none
That'd be
of that.
fun. No. But it does. It seems like there comes a lot of stress from other people. Like the stress doesn't seem to, like, obviously you've got your own things where you chuck on a costume that was designed a while ago and you're like, oh, okay, that's going to hit my confidence. But majority of it just seems to be what other people are putting on you, where you're just trying to have fun, you're trying to like do your thing and try to be inclusive and make sure everybody feels good being their characters, and you just get like hopefully occasional poo heads just saying some dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Seems that way in everything. Like, I'd love it if people just kept their opinions to themselves a little bit, you know? Just shut up.
Well, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I think that applies to when a person has, like yourself, has worked so hard. You're talking about 3 days on a wig, you know, you're spending 4 hours on makeup, you know, like that's, you know, that is a skill. It's an achievement. It's something to be proud of. And the thing that people can comment on is your bust size or whatever.
Yeah, that's another thing that I see a lot. Like, there's definitely certain cosplays that I have put down because, like, I'm just a very
too sexy
woman. Well, no,
too sexy, Shay.
Their bust size is so much larger than mine, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like, I one time went as Harley Quinn, and that wrecked my confidence because the majority of the comments, or you can tell where people are staring. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the majority of the time, and I was like, yeah, listen, I'm not well endowed. I'm appropriately endowed for my frame, and I'm not a cartoon character. Goddamn. So I think like that's also a barrier for people trying to get into cosplay, whether they want to do it professionally or just for fun. Like the whole body not matching, but again, it is still mostly from other people, because you'll have your thought about it, and then you'll go, fuck it, I'm gonna go have fun, whatever. And it's not until you encounter more of those comments that are reinforcing that negative thought that you like really start internalizing it.
It's almost like we're fully grown women and we have fully developed brains. It's great. I love this. I love this conversation, and the chat is loving it as well. Oh my goodness. On to a more positive note, as someone who does live in Western Australia, the Perth Pixel Expo is coming up in September. And I, for one, am super excited about that because it has been very small for a little while. It's been growing, but this year is going to be amazing. And one of the reasons why is because Soylent Cosplay is a special guest for Pixel Expo. So I just can't wait. I think it's going to be the best one yet. Can you tell everyone a little bit about what you'll be doing there? And yeah, give us a sneak peek.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think it's in September, I believe, 30th. I think. Yeah. No, it should be good. Where we're kind of we've just had like all of our little flights and everything confirmed, so it is a thing that is happening. And it's going to be, yeah. I'm really excited about it because I've actually never been to Perth in general. So well, my mom
Okay.
said I have, but she said I was like 2, so that doesn't count. But it'll be good to go to go over there, and then I think it's Vera and Miss Twisted and
Yep.
I forgot her name. They're from they're from somewhere else. They're international, Little Gem. And who, it's really, that's one of the best things about guesting actually when they do these big conventions, is being able to actually just get like talk to other cosplayers and other, especially when they're international, because this is the only time you ever really get to meet them. So like DreamHack was Kimpatsu, and now this time is Little Gem. So it's really exciting. But yeah, we're doing like meet and greets. There's a cosplay competition, which I'm very excited about because they let us like read the rules ahead of time so that we could go in and like finesse them so that they were a little bit more what we would expect and what we want. Because sometimes that's the issue, and especially in Australian cons, is that the competition, sometimes the rules aren't great, either too strict or too lenient. There's like this, and there's some things that they never even talk about in there. Like my big thing is makeup, obviously, but they never really have a lot of like specifics about what the do's and don'ts of a makeup look, and how much of the makeup you need to do yourself, that sort of thing. Because that's another thing that happens a lot, is that people they make the costume and then someone else does the makeup for them, and I'm always like, please do your own makeup, because that's another skill you can add to your skill set. So I'm excited to see what people bring to it. It sounds like it's going to be really good. And then I think we're doing workshops as well at some point over the weekend, and I think I'll have a table I'll have some new prints and some stickers and stuff. So just like kind of general table stuff. It'll be good.
Awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I some creators are coming over, you know, the Pixel Pals. It's like it's going to be amazing. And yes, of course, a very strong lineup of cosplayers for the event, which is really, really exciting for all of us, because you know it means that we get to see you guys, because you know some people don't come over from Perth to other states. You know, it can be quite expensive. So you know, I think bringing that here is a really lovely thing. And there's something that you put on your socials last night, and I can't remember what it is. Is there something premiering tonight that you'd like to tell everyone about?
Oh yeah, that's just the most recent episode of One for All is going up tonight on the Deerstalkers. Actually, tonight I think it's already up. It should have gone up at 7 p.m. as far as I'm aware. Yeah, it's kind of a more fun. We're looking into long form content a little bit, so it's a kind of prelude to a Kickstarter we're doing, and I'm excited about it because I made the demon that's going to be in it. So they'll be at the end of that video, and then obviously I also do all of Nixie's wig and horns and paint and stuff. So it's just kind of like my baby. I'm not on screen because I'm only on screen when I'm blue. So, but this is it's fun to see this demon that I put together, and it was I think I did 4 days I put it together. It's a lot of latex. It's a big old latex. But it came. The silhouette was very cool. So hopefully people will like it and check it out and give it some likes, because the Deerstalker channel just hit 1 million subscribers, so they're very excited about that. Hopefully that will like
wow,
keep going. So
oh, congratulations! That's insane. That's amazing. Is there anything in that area that you haven't done that you want to do?
In terms of like makeup and stuff, or
yeah, production, like being part of those kinds of teams.
Yeah, well, because like I mean, I've really been enjoying the acting side quite a bit recently. I don't get to do it very often, but I'm hoping like I've been casting something else that hasn't been like that isn't we haven't started filming or anything yet, but I have been cast. So it's
Okay.
gonna be a thing that I'm doing with Lucasfilm, not Lucasfilms, like not it's a Star Wars thing, not with Lucasfilms. It's a fan film. It's gonna be called The Black Bounty, and it is hopefully happening towards the end of this year that we're going to be filming it. I can't really say anything else more than that, but I am in
Well,
it.
that's very exciting.
um, but yeah, and then just hopefully doing more kind of literary acting. But in terms of the makeup stuff, like I really want to do some more extensive builds. I've kind of not been making as many prosthetics recently, so I think I want to kind of get back into my sculpting and make some new molds. So I've got some ideas for a big costume I want to do next year. To hopefully enter into a competition, so that's going to be kind of on my list of big makeup builds to do. More wings,
Oh,
more
yes.
face
Yes.
prosthetics, more wings. So we'll see how well that goes. But yes, on my list right now for doing next is I need to finish. I've got some animatronic wings that I really need to set up properly and put together. Because having moving wings has always been on my list of things that I've wanted to have. So
cool.
I need to kick myself up the butt and actually do it.
Yeah, no, the animatronic wings that light up, like color changing. I've seen,
Yeah.
different kinds of builds with, I guess 3D printing is a lot more prevalent in the space. I think people, it's just endless what people can do now. So really, really cool. Soylent Cosplay, thank you for joining us in this very special episode. Before we go, Shay and Kate, what are you doing? What are you doing for the rest of the week? Tell everyone.
I'll let you
Shay.
go first, right? Oh, yeah, okay, I'll go first. I'm continuing to fundraise for the Flying Doctor Service Queensland. So they've been kind enough to send me this cute bear. His name is Doug. I love him. And this adorable little hat that unfortunately doesn't fit in my ears, but like apparently I do quite well with this hat, so I'm keen. But yeah,
Look like a train conductor.
I'm a pilot, thank you. Okay, they sent me really cute stuff. But no, like honestly, they've been fantastic, and it's been amazing working with them. So yeah, continuing
Very
to fundraise,
good.
guys. And I did get accepted to another art market.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shut the front door, Shay. That's amazing. Well done.
Thank you. So prepping for that, and hoping that the stress will kick my ADHD up the butt and make me do things. I can't guarantee it, but we'll try. We'll try. So yeah, that's essentially what I'm doing. All that
Nice.
and making anxiety frogs because I think they're cute and they're weighted and I love them. There you go, everybody.
Can I buy an anxiety frog?
You can. I'm making them for the market so that when people go through the market and they're feeling a bit overwhelmed because there's too many people, they got a little dude they can take with them. Because like I love nerd cons, they're freaking amazing, and I am quite extroverted, but I just hit a point where it just becomes a lot, and I need a sec. And I think having a little squishy idiot to go around with would like help that tremendously. So essentially,
I just walk around with squishy idiots.
Yes, Steve. I can't take my cats. Apparently, people are allergic and they don't like it when my cats yell because they also don't like loud spaces.
Hey. I saw someone with a cat in a backpack last year.
So did
I've had my cats in backpacks too. It's fair.
So you and Rico could.
We're getting a pram.
Backpack.
We're getting a pram. So yeah. Well, I mean, they're 11 now, you know, so they're getting a little.
They're elderly. They're elderly cats.
They don't act like it, but we also live in a suburb that people just forget to put their dogs on leashes. And if you can see your dog running at a pram, you're more likely to stop them, and if you can see your dog running at a cat. So that's our theory. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, if I can get Tank to be quiet enough and I can cocoon him, maybe I can sneak him in. You know, I'll be like, "This is my baby. Don't you see the resemblance? Look at him. He's grey. I'm grey. It's the same thing."
You just need a cosplay that incorporates cats somehow, and then then we need camouflage, you know.
Yeah, like maybe like a summon or something. I can be like, clearly this is part of my costume, okay? And it's not over a meter, and it's not.
It's animatronic, okay? It's
very convincing.
I'm just really good at it.
Yeah. It's secretly very skilled. Yep. But Kate, what are you looking at? I think you're going to be working out your cosplay now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got to get started on that now.
Hey,
And by
you
get
are
started, I mean order it because I'm not making anything.
No,
If-
fair.
My skill level is 0.
No, we
but
start
I will
somewhere.
say your fitness. She's dedicated in the fitness. You know, I mean, I don't know which one you do. Which one you're doing? Isn't there like multiple ones? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
costumes. Yeah.
Whichever
I
one
think it's
shows
going
the
to be
least
great.
amount of skin for my own sanity.
You just spray tan that, right? You just
Yeah,
it's fine.
No,
Just spray
embrace it.
tan
Go
the
full
abs or something.
basic.
fine. It'll
Yeah.
be
Oh,
fine.
wait, we're getting abs. Okay, never mind. I want abs.
Yeah, I'll spray paint some abs on. That's the only way that's happening.
Jim will.
Yeah. No, at the moment I finally finished Xena. So
Yes, you
I'm
did.
never doing that again. That was such a good time. I loved it. Loved it so much. But I am moving on to play Rugrats. So I'm starting that
I
this
did
week.
see that.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't think it'll be as infuriating as Xena, which was such a great time. But I'm
He's being
also still
facetious if you can't tell everyone.
I'm also finishing off The Last of Us 2, so I'm still working away at that. So they're the 2 main things that I'm doing at the moment.
Speaking of The Last of Us, can we take a moment for Pedro? I know we talked about objectifying women is bad, but we can objectify Pedro because he would like that. And
He does.
he's told us that, okay? His biceps, he had no, the audacity of that man. I saw a comment, I don't know where it was, because he's doing promo for that trio love movie that he's in with Anastasia Steele and Captain America.
Not their names, just their characters.
Yes.
Whoever they are. Dakota, whatever, who gives a Pedro's in it.
So yeah, he's doing promo for that, right? And he's wearing like all black. He's got like the black trousers, the black loafers, and then this like tank top, but like muscle tank top, and not a hair in sight. That I wasn't concerned about that for some reason because I was distracted with just they're not even big. They're just nice, you know. And then yeah, I saw someone comment and they're like, so this is a similar feeling to seeing a lady's ankle.
Oh, yes. We're getting frisky with the ankles, are we? Very nice, very nice.
Yes. So anyway, we were talking about The Last of Us, and that led me to Pedro. Games I've been playing. I didn't have no time to talk about this. But since I had my debacle with the computer, I streamed a little bit of my Xbox, which apparently was flawless. So there you go. There was no camera though, so you don't get that experience. But Doom, Dark Ages is a great game. I'm playing. It's good because it's set out in chapters, and you can just like pick it up. You play the chapter. There's some really great. I mean, I can't wait to see the cosplay around this because there's some very, very cool characters in it. And yeah, it's really digestible to play. So you can pick up a chapter and put it down. And there's great cutscenes in between. Someone asked me about like the story in it, and I think it's very well fleshed out in comparison to previous games. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. And if anyone wants feedback on me playing Moving Out 2 with my children for game night last week, we only had 5 walkouts, okay? There was only 5 times where my 8-year-old walked out. And my main issue with Moving Out, it's great because you can do up to 4 couch co-op. If you have 4 controllers, and I have a few controllers. And yeah, you can play. It's great, but the issue that I had with the children is they were putting stuff on the truck that didn't need to go on the truck. And I'm like, press this button, it will tell you what needs to go on the truck. No, but didn't listen. Pure chaos. We need the inflatable flamingo. It's not part of the achievement or anything that, the checklist that you get at the end. If you've played it, you get like special achievements for like, oh, you packed the dog or whatever, even though it wasn't on the list. And you have to like guess. Yeah, I don't know. There's like specific things you're supposed to put on and then stuff you're not. And yeah, like holding the doors open in certain sections, and then just like them just busting through every single window. And anyway, it's look, we're instilling problem solving, okay?
For
It's
who?
great.
You or
Problem solving how to not unalive my
it's like
during this experience.
terrorism training.
Yeah,
Don't kill
something
each
like
other.
that. Negotiations, you know. But yes, I would like maybe when your kids are a bit older, like my kids are like 6 and 8, so maybe not that age. But yeah, I think it's a good game if you're kind of sick of Mario Kart and like, you know, like racing, like Nintendo games. I think yeah, moving out to is a good game. I do rate it for the fam. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Shay, who are we rating?
We are rating Tika tonight. So
Again?
yeah, because
Okay.
we haven't actually rated her for a little bit. And also I need
Okay.
to start keeping a list of who we rated when so I can remember. But Tika,
Okay.
because she literally just started, so we're not going to get over there and she's gone. But also she's doing charity fundraising for St. Jude all this month, and she's been going hard. Yeah,
Right,
but I have put in a cheeky little raid message to guys. So like if you'd like to, Confessions of a Gamer Girl raid, we got the little clicky hand. It is a universal emote, so we won't have to worry about anybody not having it. And I feel like it gets the sass right. So yeah.
Yeah, she's a vibe. If you don't know who Tika is, she's very working with Just Dance. You know, she does all the Just Dance.
She
you know,
cosplays the
things.
Just Dances as well, and then
She
dances in the
does.
costumes. And I'm like, my man, you did.
I don't know how she
dedication.
dances with that fruit hat. It's probably made of
Dude,
foam.
right?
I don't know.
No, it is, but I think it's still like it still messes with her balance because it's quite tall. So I'm just like, how do you not break your neck? I don't want you to. But how do you not? I'm curious.
Tell us your secrets.
Yes.
All right. Once again, thank you to our guest. Thank you to our chat. And we will see you next week for another episode of Confessions of a Gamer Girl. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. And we have rated.